The Cuphead Show, a series produced by Dave Wesson, is based on the famous 2017 video game Cuphead. Cuphead, voiced by True Valentino, and Mugman, portrayed by Frank Todero, have amazing adventure rides in this new series adaptation. The first season of Netflix's brand new animated series was made available to subscribers not long after the year 2022 began. This adaptation tells the story of two brothers named Cuphead and Mugman. They get into a series of zany adventures in a cartoonish universe that is influenced by the works of Walt Disney and Max Fleischer. It should come as no surprise that Netflix had decided to produce a second season of the Cuphead Show after the success of the first one, which features endearing characters and a delightful aesthetic reminiscent of the 1930s. Now that the show's anticipated season 2 has finally dropped on Netflix, what are the words fans have to say about the show? Here is everything you should know about the recent season and our honest review. But of course, before any of that, make sure first to hit the subscribe button and smash the notification bell for more updates. Now, let's dunk in. The Cuphead Show is a character-driven comedy series that follows the one-of-a-kind misadventures of the lovable, impulsive, scamp Cuphead and his cautious but easily swayed brother Mugman. The award-winning video game that burst onto the scene with a stunning retro animation style served as the inspiration for the television series when they are looking for fun and interesting new adventures on their weird homeworld of the Inkwell Isles. They are always there for each other and they never let each other down, unless there is only one cookie left, in which case each cup is reserved solely for the specific buyer. The Cuphead Show offers nostalgic thrills, side-splitting laughter, and a hearty dose of the heebie-jeebies, especially when an outrageously weird foe, the devil himself, shows up to screw with our heroes. One of the series' primary highlights was that the animation style was generally preferred to the game's attractiveness, while yet being more time and money efficient. The amount of humor could have been slightly more geared towards an older age, and the episode concept for the most part played it safe. Nevertheless, we were wishing that we got to see more characters from the game, especially that they wanted to build up to their presence. Cuphead and Mugman were imprisoned at the end of Season 1, and Miss Chalice was made known for its final episode, before the wonderful Last Dish, which fully integrated Miss Chalice as a new incarnation of the legendary Chalice and a playable character that season was airing. Chalice makes an appearance a few times in Season 2. If you are hoping to see some of the DLC bosses as key featured characters, you won't get a proper look at any of them in the other DLC content. Thankfully, though, there are some additional bosses from the original game that have been included, some of which are utilized more frequently than others. Werner Vermin, who becomes a pest in the cottage, is at least a consolation prize. Baroness von Bonbon and Sugarland makes brief appearances. It was amazing how they portrayed Sugarland as someone on a sugar high, who was unpredictable and insane. We also see the brilliant coupling of Captain Brinybeard and Kana Maria, two characters who were hinted at in the show's title sequence. The fact that Maria's voice perfectly matches Natasha Dimitriou made it much more amazing. It was wonderful, ideally cast, for her to integrate herself into the Cuphead shore. The entire Brinybeard and Maria tale was excellent as well, as it is an excellent illustration of how we all sense the shore on the haul and grasp and run with a lot more entertaining and outrageous ideas. During a sword fight in Season 2, Cuphead and Mugman mistakenly send a pirate ship out to sea while climbing aboard one that appears to have been abandoned. They then discover Brinybeard is aboard, who is attempting to sail away with Kana Maria, who turns out to be his true love. With the longest run duration of the Season 2 episodes, this one felt a little more grand and epic. Additionally, both of those bosses are a lot of fun here. Similar to the Broken Handle episode from Season 1, there are many additional outlandish episode concepts that are explored to see how far they can go, and several of the episodes succeeded in doing that. One illustration comes from the game Deadbrook, where Chalice, who has the ability to assume a ghostly shape, teams up with Cuphead and Mugman for a classic case of con artistry. Chalice haunts structures, so the brothers hire ghost hunters to lure her out, trap her, and then demand payment. The concept is clever and entertaining on its own, but when they try to pull a hoax on the real haunted house, it takes things to the next level. This was definitely a high point for me, and overall, this one had a lot more interesting and memorable episodes than the first. An ice cream vendor who is parked outside the cottage keeps interrupting Mugman, and with time he grows increasingly irksome. He begins to lose his mind over it. Here were a couple funny moments that took me off guard. One is when the ice cream vendor is threatened by Mugman and is pinned down. As a result, he reaches for sprinkles to render Mugman blind. That, in my opinion, was expertly executed. Then, when the ice cream vendor drives off in his van after Mugman yells at him, the music changes to a minor tone, as if the van itself is dejected about what transpired. Simply said, it was a wonderful nuance that no one could have predicted. For example, in episode 1, the prison episode, which continues the story from the previous finale, we see some establishing shots of the prison, with a harmonica playing in the background before cutting inside to reveal a living harmonica playing itself in a cell. In contrast, much of season 1's humor was either rather standard or a little in your face. The show was almost like the fourth wall effect in reverse, where music that you initially perceive as incidental suddenly becomes a part of the scene. That occurs about 20 seconds into the first episode. Therefore, we were aware that we had a stronger foundation. Just tiny things like Cuphead and Mugman now having stubble and black and white striped straws working so nicely here for laughter. Then, when using a spoon to build a tunnel, the spoon breaks, forcing Cuphead to use his head instead. All of those instances produce some chuckles, which is probably something we all like. More offensive humor has been inserted there to go along with the world of Cuphead's absurdity. The lads are punished for attempting a jailbreak by breaking rocks, and after another attempt, they are punished by spending the night in a box. They are then punished with spending the night in the box while crushing rocks after making another attempt to escape. For me, the level of silliness that made it work was exactly right. Don't misunderstand us, though. We do not in any way believe that Season 2 was flawless. If we had to take anything away from this, it's that the program occasionally loses sight of its own advantages. It incorporates a continuity where past events and plots are occasionally referenced, which is incredibly endearing. And it even explains how Briny Beard acquired his 2 wooden legs. A notable exception to this strength was the Ball Boy episode, in which Cuphead and Mugman quarrel and Cuphead sets out to find a new brother. In his search, he encounters Ball Boy, a purposefully annoying character with a Bill Skarsgård Pennywise expression, who turns out to be insane and a threat to the boys. As the doctor arrives to pick them up in the following episode, Ball Boy pauses as the episode finishes on a cliffhanger, with them in the hospital. We were a little excited since a lot of us might have assumed this would be a two-parted and that Ball Boy had enough to be more than just a one-off character. He had the potential to be more of a foe, but everything was abruptly discarded, which, in our opinion, was a missed opportunity. To sum up the animation, there were more stop-frame effects, additional water scorpion techniques, and combinations of physical props and animation cells, such as Briny Beard's ship that navigated through ruined waters. A nod to the era it originates from. Fans of all ages always enjoy that particular type of animation. As we all know, Season 2 was a huge improvement over Season 1. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and smash that notification bell for more episodes.